What are examples of DCF after a 51B investigation by a DCF investigator unsupporting allegations of abuse or neglect in Massachusetts? This simple question of examples of how DCF reaches a conclusion happens all the time. The investigator will go out and collect and gather information. And the important thing is to be able to get the right and correct information before the DCF investigator. And that sometimes can be onerous, can be a difficult task, but it can be done. I recently had a bunch of different cases where allegations of neglect and abuse were unsupported. One was where an individual had an allegation that was 3 years old. It wasn't fresh. The incident allegedly happened 3 years ago. Now, I don't know about you, but I barely remember what I had for breakfast this morning or what I had yesterday for lunch and dinner. So the point being is that with a complaint that's old, it's really difficult for not only you as the parent or the caretaker, but also for DCF to go back and try and put such a Humpty Dumpty back together again. And in that case, DCF did the right thing. The evidence wasn't fresh. The child's story was all over the place. It was a young child, and the young child was even younger back then. And if the child's story 3 years later was mumbo jumbo, it certainly wasn't any better 3 years earlier. And they threw that type of allegation out the window. Another case I had where a child was not a child. The child was over the age of 18, therefore not a child. So DCF was investigating an allegation against a child that wasn't a child. They immediately threw that one out. Another case where the parent was not a caretaker. The parent was out of state. The child was being watched by a babysitter when the incident occurred. And the babysitter was watching the child, and the child broke into the medication cabinet and ingested some medication. And the medication was found to be properly locked up, properly secured. The parents were out of town, they were working, and the babysitter was not held responsible either because the child broke into something that should have been childproof. It was nobody's fault. Everybody did everything they were supposed to, including DCF, the unsupported decision. Another case I had was where there was physical abuse. The child had physical abuse, marks all over his body. But come to find out, the child was playing baseball. The child received the injuries playing baseball. That was confirmed and corroborated through the baseball coach and also through the parents and other spectators and fans that were there at the game. DCF investigated, found the bruises were just non-accidental. No, they weren't. They were accidental. They were incurred during a baseball game. And DCF, much to his credit, did the right thing and then supported the decision. So there's many times where there's evidence that's out there that needs to be put before DCF and needs to be looked into. And sometimes people get busy, people get out of sorts, and they don't do the right thing. Do the right thing. Help to get your decision unsupported.